Well, a bunch of senators got together, drafted a letter, sent it over to the Department of Homeland Security. They want to know from Secretary Mayorkas, are we ready for a cyber attack? If those Russians come after us, are we prepared for it? And you can see there's a bunch of them, and they all signed this thing in blue ink, which means serious business is afoot. Let's see what they want to know. Here we can see this was drafted March 13, 2022. Going over to the Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas, Department of Homeland Security, and they say, hey, Secretary Mayorkas, we write to request a briefing. They want an update on the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and your efforts to protect the U.S. homeland from the Russian government and their cyber and disinformation threats in the wake of the unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Something we've been following along, and the senators obviously doing the same thing. They write here, they are very concerned about Russia in particular because they say, look, we've been down this road before. They say the Russians engage in malicious cyber activities and espionage and intellectual property theft and disinformation and propaganda and cyber and all of those horrendous things that a lot of other countries do. And they want to know what we're doing about it against Russia. They say in response, the United States government has imposed sanctions and that they have been concerned that there may be retaliatory cyber attacks. They say historically we've seen solar winds. We talked about that here. And they're concerned that the Russians might consider potentially interfering U.S. elections again. And that was, of course, a big problem that we had to deal with for several years. They have specific questions that they want answered. We can see there's a big laundry list of them here. They say, look, now that we have sanctioned Putin, we are concerned the United States may be targeted for retaliation. And we stand with the Ukrainian people, and we are imposing, they write, crushing sanctions on Putin's regime. And since we're doing all of that, now he might hit us back. And they want to know what the Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency are going to do about this. They say, given the evolving threat and landscape about these potential attacks, please let us know about the following. As the nation's cyber defense agency, and remember what Mayorkas is responsible for. You may remember his greatest hits and his tremendous successes down there at the southern border. Says, what are you guys doing about this to monitor and proactively defend against the Russians? And is there a strategy in place should U.S. critical infrastructure be targeted? You know, there was a pipeline where there were some problems. Did you learn anything from that, or are we going to be better this next go around? Yes or no? They write, are there specific U.S. entities or sectors that are targets? If so, can you please identify those for us? Hopefully that stays confidential and they don't post that list on Twitter for the Russians. How is, they ask, the Shields Up technical guidance being disseminated to critical infrastructure owners and operators? Specifically, how is guidance being shared with smaller entities that do not have CIOs? So sort of chief information officers. And remember, we've talked about this before here, that there are these sort of governmental private sector partnerships where CISA, the FBI will create these bulletins. They'll post those out to the rest of America, and they'll say, listen, this is what we're seeing here. You guys should probably be aware about this. Update your software, change your passwords, or whatever the bulletin tells them to do. But here, you know, a lot of these are for bigger companies that have chief information officers, people who are managing cybersecurity and infrastructure for massive corporations. Small business owners and many people don't, with smaller teams, don't have a role for that, for CIOs. And they're saying, how are you communicating these persistent threat concerns to other entities that might be impacted by this, especially if they are part of the U.S. critical infrastructure? Pretty good questions. It goes on. They write, how is the department defending against Russian disinformation efforts? And so we see this has been basically everywhere these days, saying that everything needs to be censored, can't talk about anything. If you question anything that exists, well, suddenly you're sort of a shill for Putin. And the list goes on and on and on. Our same government that has been, essentially misinforming us for quite a long time now is now supposed to be the purveyor of truth and, I guess, justice. I'm not so sure about that. How has the disinformation threat level to the United States homeland changed since Russia's invasion of Ukraine? And what is the department doing to mitigate that threat? Well, hopefully it's more than what they did to prevent Russia from invading in the first place, because they made a lot of efforts to do that, didn't work out. How is CISA coordinating with international partners to advance operational coordination and build partner capacity, including with NATO allies in Ukraine. Thank you, they say, for your prompt attention to this matter, and we look forward to your prompt response. And when you get this many senators signing off on this thing, with people like Diane Feinstein over from California, we've got Cory Booker, we have Jean Shaheen, let's see, Sherrod Brown, we know her, Jackie Rosen, we have Robert Casey, bunch of senators. You may know some of these people. Joe Manchin's on this list. Susan Collins is a Republican. Tammy Duckworth. We have Michael Bennet, Mike Braun, Kirsten Gillibrand, I think from New York, and Mark Kelly out here from Arizona. Shout out. All sending a letter over to DHS concerned about those Russians. Now, as this is unfolding, as the United States is spending billions of dollars to support Ukraine, to protect their borders, there's a lot of other activity happening in other places around the world, and other threats and foes that I think, sort of haven't been receiving a lot of attention while the United States government has been so focused on Russia, even though this other country and their government seems to be doing a lot of the same things they're alleging the Russians of doing. And they are also now appearing to be behind another cyber threat. Here is what The Sun is reporting. It says this cyber threat claims from China, says that China says it captured U.S. NSA spy tool dubbed the Trojan horse that can steal info and control global internet equipment. This was posted over at The Sun by Israel Salas Rodriguez. Now, I know The Sun is not, a big tech blog or anything like that. So take this with, what it is. Here you can see it says, despite the claims, there has been no confirmation by U.S. officials on the alleged hack or the tool's existence, saying a report obtained by the outlet from the National Computer Virus Emergency Response Center claims the dubbed Trojan horse, or NOPEN, N-O-P-E-N, is a remote control tool for Unix and Linux computer systems. Says the instrument can allegedly remote control existing network servers and terminals, which attackers can manually implant, or cyber attack platforms by the NSA. So basically, they can use this code to take over networks, implant things, and attack the United States infrastructure. And if they're concerned the Russians can do this, they're probably going to be concerned that the Chinese can do this, right? Obviously, according to the Chinese outlet where this was published, they say the tool, quote, is mainly used to steal files, access systems, redirect network communication, and view a target device's information. And we've talked a lot about this, that there are different cybersecurity agencies that have interfaces with U.S. governments and international governments, Israeli companies. We've got companies like Clearview AI that are sort of trying to insert themselves into technology and having contracts with different police agencies which have contracts with different organizations like Amazon to get access to your Ring camera around your neighborhoods, all this stuff. So if the Chinese can get access to a network, if they can break open into one of these things using a Trojan tool, well, they can basically get access to anything. And now that the senators are concerned about it with Russia, we're concerned about it with China, and we're concerned about it really with our own U.S. government. You can see here, this is what the Snowden report told us back some time ago on this very topic, said that they were concerned about the Office of Tailored Access Operations. Here, computer network structure over there at the NSA. It's a cyber warfare intelligence gathering unit at the NSA. Been active since at least 1998, all the way up till 1997. It identifies, monitors, infiltrates, and gathers intelligence on computer systems being used by foreign entities to the United States. And so, okay, so this thing exists. Snowden says that it exists. A document leaked by him described the work, says that the software has templates that allow it to break into commonly used hardware like routers, switches, firewalls from multiple product vendor lines. So we'll see when the Department of Homeland Security responds and how they describe their security. Do you think the United States cyber infrastructure is secure? I certainly hope so. We'll see what they say about it. But I want to hear from you. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever it is you're watching this, because I look forward to seeing you on the next one.